So I've been recommended this movie so many times, it's unbelievable. And it's only by one guy. He keeps telling me to watch this movie in every single post I do on TikTok. And I was like, I don't feel like watching this movie. And the thing is, movies is hard to watch. My attention span is cooked. But once my phone was broken, I was like, I have to watch this movie. There's nothing else to do. And when I watched this movie, and when I completed this movie, it is absolutely. So in this section, I'm probably just gonna talk about what the actual movie is, little non-spoiler, and then I get into the spoiler part. Maquia is a movie about this group of people called the Lords, and the whole premise of them is literally just they live longer, and that gets tied into it, especially towards the ending of the movie. But anyway, they're the Lords. Then you got the humans, always portrayed as the bad people. They invade, beat up some people, kill some people, but they take some of the people from the Lorth clan, especially the elderly. And there's one girl that's named Lelia, and she gets taken into the kingdom. And their whole thing is they want to make a kingdom where it lasts like for life or for a long, long time. So they want to breed with them, get a son, he becomes the king, yada yada yada. But you know how the movie is called Maquia? Maquia is one of the characters in Lorth. She's the main character, also with another character called Ariel. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, Maquia, she basically runs away. She rides a dragon. The dragon crashes. Then she ends up in a place where she finds a mother protecting a kid. And the kid is who will end up being named Ariel. I mean, that's a minor spoiler, but that's the most I can say. And you basically delve into their relationship as a mother, because she's not a mother. Maquia decided to take him. So it's a mother to son relationship, and yeah, that's the most I can say without really delving into it. And that's like, yeah. So if you want to click off, watch the movie, and then come back, do that. Obviously, subscribe and like. Anyway, let's actually get to the spoiler section of this. So now we got Ariel, the kid, and Maquia. They are found in a village, and she's trying to get milk from a goat because, you know, she's a kid. She ain't giving no breast milk. She can't do that. Then one thing I really like is their dynamic, which I will explain later. But another character I like that pops up, her name is Mido. What a wholesome mother. She basically, her husband basically died a long time ago. I think she was fighting in some war, so she's just by herself with 3 kids, and now she got a kid looking after a kid. They make that as a big point, obviously, because she's not really a mother. A kid shouldn't be looking after a kid. That's the whole section part. But anyway, Mido, very wholesome. She kind of teaches Maquia how to look after the kid. And then we basically go through like a mini time skip where where Ariel becomes like a 4-year-old. He's talking. At first, he calls her Mama, which is wholesome. Like, this whole movie is just full of wholesome moments, and yeah, and I'm all here for it. Anyway, we also get introduced to her kids, Mido kids, Lang and Dio. Lang I think is the one who ends up trying to date Maquia. Say, yo, come to my town, you know. But I'll talk about that later. So now Maquia and Ariel gets a bit older. But the problem is she needs to move to the kingdom, and I think she wants to reunite with her brothers and sisters apart in the Lorth clan. I'm going to call it the Lorth clan. I think that's the right way of saying it. She gets into the town. It's just her and Ariel, mother and son. Yeah, I don't know why I have to say that. But anyway, so she finds them. They are planning to do an attack in the kingdom to save Lilia. Yeah, hard name to say. So one of the characters is called Krim, which I can't lie, I felt sorry for him. His fate, he had a sad fate. He died trying to protect Lilia, trying to take her. And I do have some problems with Lilia. But anyway, they tried to invade it. It failed. They tried to do it again by stabbing a dragon. They tried to do it again with like a full-on war. And for the most part, I would say it fails. But anyway, before I talk about that, I want to talk about Ariel because I have a hard time defending this guy. Once he turns into a teen, and obviously they like to portray the bratty, rebellious phase, it's hard. It's hard to defend this guy, bro. The way he treats his mother. Usually I back the kid most of the time because I feel like the parents usually be doing something I don't really like it. But it's hard. Like he had zero reason to be that rude to his mother, and his whole thing was like, oh, he's trying to protect the mother. He feels like he's too weak. I don't know. It seemed a bit weird. Like the whole notion of trying to protect the mother, protect her from what? I don't understand. Like if we had a scene where maybe the mother got slapped by someone or something like that, and obviously he's a kid, he can't protect her. Then he would say like, when I grow up, I will protect her. But we don't have that. So this whole thing is a bit confusing and it just feels weird. This whole protect the mother and things like that. I mean, it's normal for a kid to protect her. He wants to protect the mother, but they gave like a bit of a more emphasis on it, which I don't think it needed it. Anyway, so he's saying some rude shit to her and he starts to talk to a guy which I'm assuming is named Lang. Let me check. Yeah, his name is Lang, and they basically have a conversation where he basically upset his mother, and he was saying like, "You're not my mum. You're not. There's no connection." Because I forgot to say, he finds out that she's not his mother. I don't know why I had a struggle to say that, but anyway, he finds that out. He gets kind of pissed. And then he starts to not call her by her name. I mean, he doesn't even call her by her name. He just says, "Get this, get that." Or he just asks her something without saying her name or even calling her mum, which is kind of heartbroken. I'll be honest. Even though she's not really her mum, but that's the bond they had. And yeah, it's a bit heartbreaking. And Lang, he's obviously rightfully so pissed, and he was like, "Did you say to Makia that she's not your mum?" He said it, slapped him, I think, or yeah, they had a little scuffle, and then you had the whole notion of, oh, I want to protect my mum, and yada yada yada, which again doesn't make sense. I maybe it makes sense to you guys. To me, it just doesn't. But yeah. Now we get into the little war arc of the movie, I would say, where it's Lords v the Human Kingdom. And I can't lie, I think this is my favorite part because at this time in this timeline, well, I don't know why I say timeline. At this point of the movie, Ariel is basically an adult. I don't know how old. I'm assuming maybe early 20s because it seemed like he got with a girl and had a baby. But anyway, he got a baby. Oh, he got his wife pregnant, and his wife used to be a bully of him, which is a bit weird. And then once he came back to the village, they kind of just like say sorry, and then they kind of linked up, and then you get what I mean. But anyway, she's pregnant, and then they both hear a signal or like an alarm that the whole place is getting invaded. He needs to go protect the kingdom because he became a soldier, which in a way the only reason he did that was to protect his mother. I'm not the whole notion of it. I'm not a big fan, as you can tell. But anyway, he tries to protect her, and he goes off to fight for this war. But like 2 seconds after he left, his wife's his wife water broke, so she's about to deliver a baby herself. And yeah, that's a bit peak. So now we got this whole thing of a life is gonna be created, as in the baby. But we don't know if Ariel's life is going to be killed or ended, basically. So now it's like two things going on at the same time, which I really love. And they do switch in between scenes as Makia finds Ariel's wife, helps her deliver a baby while Ariel is fighting. And they did a little sneaky scene where he's fighting someone, but then behind him, someone has a little big spear, tries to stab him, but then blood just comes out, but we don't even know what's going on. To be honest, when I was watching that scene, I thought he was dead. Like, I really thought they were going to go through that route, and he dies. But thankfully, the guy is alive. I'm happy he's alive. I didn't like the fact they would go to kill him. Like, if I feel like some other authors would have just killed him off, but thankfully this one didn't, and we actually went through a way better route, which I will explain that later. Anyway, Ariel, he got his baby delivered, and they basically hold the baby, and yeah, it kind of reminds me, obviously, as Makia was a little kid, she took the baby from the mother, as the mother was dead. I don't know. It just gave me that memory, like, back then. It was kind of cool. Okay, so I think this ending part of the movie is my favorite. I literally cried when this shit happened. So after that happened, Makia and Ariel. Oh, I shouldn't say after. It's actually before, technically. So Makia and Ariel basically meet up, as even during the war they literally seen each other, because Ariel was meant to kill these lords or whatever they called, but Makia is one of them. He didn't know that. He thankfully he allowed her just to run away or some shit. If he had touched her in any way, it's on site. It's actually on site, because Ariel, you were already being a bra. You know what? I'm just happy he did the right thing, because, like, imagine he did something to his own mother. Like, oh my god. It was already hard defending this guy, because Makia did nothing wrong. But if he did something worse than that, like killing her or some shit, that would be out of order. But anyway, he didn't do that. They kind of make up. He basically called her mum again, which was nice. Yeah, and then Makia just walks on the water, and then you see the sun, because her whole thing was saying, like, he smells like the sun, which I have no clue what the hell that means. What does that even mean? I think that's what she said anyway. She always comments on how he smells, which is a bit weird. And the thing is, what word she used? I don't know. I thought it was the sun. I think that's what she used, but I don't even know what that means. So, yeah. Anyway, then we span back to Lilia, which I've kind of ignored. I kind of forgot to explain this whole part. But Lilia's whole story arc is basically she gets forced into the kingdom. She's forced to get a baby. She doesn't even get to see her baby, which I don't even know why is the king doing that? Her husband is a bitch. Sorry for the language. I hate him. So we get this one scene where she goes absolutely ballistic, just throwing jewelries and things like that, shouting to her husband, saying, "I want to see my daughter." And it's kind of interesting, because another guy called, obviously, Krim, when he meets her during this war arc, I'm gonna call it, and he basically said, "Let's leave," but then she's saying, "Yo, I want to see my kid first." And he's like, "That kid, that was forced upon you. You don't need to see that." But then I feel like this is like a motherly nature, like even though she basically got raped, that's what basically happened, and she was forced to deliver this baby. She still wants to see this baby, and in a way she still had love for this baby. I think it's a bit weakened, because at the end they get to me. It's absolutely amazing that the kid's auntie basically was like, "This is Lilia," and she's like, "Yo, Lilia, that's the mother, that's my mother." Yeah, and the OST starts to, during this whole section, the OST just starts to kill it, bro. Like, the OST is actually peaked towards this whole section. They're obviously trying to make you cry, and it worked on me. I cried towards this scene, but I think the best scene I cried to, that made me cry the most, was when hundreds, maybe, or probably like 70 years later, where Ariel was basically, in his deathbed. He was about to die. And when she goes to the city, she obviously asked him, "Oh, can I see your grandfather, the little kid?" So basically, a lot of time just went past. She sees her son, Ariel. And yeah, this shit is so sad, because then, that ties back to what I said before. Love, they live 100 years, and they make a big point about that, because now towards the end, you see the effect of that, living that long, while humans, they don't even live that long. So Ariel's in his deathbed. He calls her mum again, which was sad, because in his teen years, he wasn't even gonna call her mum. He literally wanted to dissociate anything towards her, but now It's all sad, and this shit made me cry. Like when you see like a sad scene and then they start upping their game OST wise, that's when you know they're cooking. But this movie, I am struggling whether or not what to like how to rate this. I would probably rate it 9 because I do have some issues with the movie. But animation peak, voice acting peak, dubbing's really good as well. I feel like the visuals, like when we were flying in the sky after Lillian met her daughter, and then she went on the dragon with Makia. We go through the sky. The visuals absolutely amazing. The lighting, it's just it. This movie really, they cooked. They really cooked, and I just love it. Obviously, this is off the dome, so yo, I don't know what to say, man. This movie is amazing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe. Yeah. Anyway, peace.